Right then, so the team is assembled, we're ready to rock. We had a quick discussion previously about it, but basically Dan and Harry's going to rip interior out, John's going to do wheels and tyres, Paul's going to start on all the stuff that needs wires going to it and pipes going to it to start with, and then Scott's going to do service, and then him and Harry are going to drop onto suspension. Try to do a side each, that's the plan. And then we'll see how we get on. Then there'll be a definite role reversals. Dan's going to do seat as well. You might as well do steering wheel while you're in there and make sure ergonomics are all right. I'll jump in it and see. And then hopefully, we won't take too long. So, crack on everybody. Let's go. So, half an hour in, spark plugs are in, air filters in, oil filters out and oil's dropped. That's on the service side. John's done all wheels. I think that's probably John done unless anybody needs a hand. Nah, but all 4 wheels are on, all balanced. All interiors completely out. As far as we can go, we just need to take headlining out, so that's all sorted. So we're nearly ready to start putting cage in. That should be easy. Wheels are all off, and suspension will be getting sorted shortly. And Paul's come up with his wiring plan, so things are happening. See what happens in next half an hour maybe. So, I think 2.5 hours in now. Like we said before, all this stuff's out. We've got it out of the way because it was getting a bit on top. So all that cack's out. I think we're still going to reuse that gear knob for now until we get something better. It's all prepped for the cage to be welded in now, I believe. We just need to start a bit more tidying up, but it's all getting in. The battery isolator is mounted. We just need to run them, just need to put ring terminals on them 2 cables to send that to the ignition switch so that when you kill the isolator it kills the car. Then the button's deprinted, but we'll do all that at the same time as doing extinguisher. This is just going to stay as it is, might as well. Alt front end, we've got most of the stuff off here now, so we're going to need new ones of these, new drop links. All this seems pretty good. This is all going to come off, but this is one of the main sticking points we've got. Bearing stuck inside hub, so we've got to smash that out. That's not going to take 2 minutes. Harry's doing the bushes on the other side. So all this is stripped down and sorted. We've got the power flex bushes sorted on the anti-roll bar. Track rods and ends on at this side. Just need to do brake lines and then start building this one back up. So we're getting somewhere. So progress is getting made, slowly but surely. So see how we get on. So 6 hours in, everybody's gone home a bit back, so we're a bit quieter now. The rear half of the cage is all in, done and welded. So all the plates are welding. It's a bolt out cage, but it's not a bolt in cage like they call them. So all these plates are done here, all the plates at the back are all welded in. A couple of little holes when we're scraping underseal off keep appearing. There's like one here, if you can get to it with camera. There's that one there, and there's another one over there near front foot plate. These gimbals are good to keep a steady shot, but you can never aim at stuff. So yeah, this is it's still a fair bit to go at in here, but roll cage is not a mile away. We've had to trim dash at side there just to get that bit in here. We haven't had to take the dash out, but yeah, that's sorted. So yeah, and that's that. Paul's wired in. If we get round this other side. So this is Paul's little bit in a loom. I think this is all braided up. I think this is external loom, is it? Oh no, this is internal part at loom. So that's all braided up, ready to go in. Just need to drill dash for that. The isolator, as we said before, is in. That's wired in proper now, just waiting for the switches. Starting getting positioning at fire extinguisher, I think has it bolted any brackets in? I can't see any brackets bolted in just yet. Has the scuttle panel gone on? Is that still over there? I think scuttle panel. I'll go get it. Hold your horses. So this is the scuttle panel. Got the buttons, that's kill switch. It's not connected to fire extinguisher, so that'll be going back on there. So we need to connect them together. That's tomorrow's job, and then that'll be sorted. And then suspension wise, we've been struggling a little bit because it's a bit crusty, which I think we've spent a bit too much time on it, but the strut's all built up, ready to rock with new top mounts and bearings and everything. That's all sorted. But we've had a bit of trouble. This one's finally built now. Just wants the studs knocking out, and the new one's putting in. But the wheel bearing was really crusty, and we couldn't get the race out, but we ended up just TIG welding round inside of them, and that shrinks it, that pops straight out. So that's another thing to do. We've had to cut into them. Oh, pain, real pain. Spent far too long messing about. And then what else are we waiting on now? The ball joints that came are the wrong one, so this bottom arm's on and sorted. Struts on and sorted, just waiting for the ball joint to come, and then this side, press that bearing, this can go back together, change the hose and build it up. So that, there's no more than an hour in that side to be finished. Probably about the same on that side, so probably an hour in tomorrow we should have them done. And when we were saying these were Powerflex bushes, they're not actually a bush. These are the rose jointed versions that they do. So these are got loads of movement in them, but none of the play that you get from a normal bush. So these should stiffen steering up a nice amount. So yeah, not where I want it to be. I got it in my head that end of today we'd probably drop down on deck and be finishing all interior stuff, but we're not quite there. But at least we've got service done. Most of the cage is sorted, and we've found a few problems with what we've got, and we're not going to have to wait too long to get that sorted tomorrow. So it'd be nice, a couple of hours in tomorrow, we drop down and away we go. Depends how much trouble we have with them rear drums, because they can take a bit of work to do, but see what happens. So, dinner time, day 2 as such, which means we're 10 hours in, but we've only had 3 people on it today, not 4, so we'll work man hours out later on. Finally got rid of all stuck, seized, rusted bits up front, and the fronts are done. So it's got Mintex pads in, new Brembo discs, Bilstein shocks, Goodrich hoses, all the new track rods, Powerflex bushers, all ready to rock, and the longer studs with the bigger nuts as well. So that's all sorted. We're all ready to rock on that corner. So one of the things that we're going to do, we've got to drill the spot welds that hold the wings on and secure them on with bolts. So if we had a crash, they're just easy to take off. You're not got a mangled spot weld to try and drill out. That's part of the regs that you're allowed to do with that. Paul's managed to get all the nozzles mounted for the fire extinguisher. So there's one there, where's the other one? One there, and another one just hiding under there. So there's 4 in the engine bay, which I think's excessive, but apparently that's the new regs. It is what it is. The kill switches, we showed you them before. This is for the transponder. So this wire runs down here to here, and the transponder's just hiding under there. This is a regulation place it's got to go. I'm not quite sure why they didn't put it on offside. Near side. They wanted it on offside. They'd have put it on near side, it'd have been near at battery and away from all these pulleys and stuff, so a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. This side's all on and done now, so that's all good. The roll cage is all in, primed up and sorted, and we have found a few other little holes that keep coming up, which they're not going to affect anything we're doing really, but they won't do it anyway. So this is the joy of working on Ford. So if you can find one that's got 12-month MOT, less likely to have needing all this welding. But the cage is in and done anyway, so really happy with that. We've not painted the floor properly yet, but we've got a bit more grinding. We've got to put the seat belt mounting lugs. Which way have they gone? There's some kicking about somewhere. They're all hiding away. We've got to put the little plates with the bolt and the eyes on there. Scott's just doing the rears now, so I'll go round other side out it way. But basically we've got the bushes to do, which is going to be a pain. They're going to be hard to push out, but we'll see what we can do. Obviously shocker top, spring, shock to replace, and then everything that's in here. So we're going to do the new wheel cylinders, new bearing, everything, new drum, so that'll all be sorted after lunch. What else is there to do? The rain light. So if you just pull boot down, I'll just connect battery up. Hopefully, see that's working now. Should come on. Which side lights? Oh no, what's happened to my stalk? I think somebody's broke indicator stalk. And it's killed, so there. Are we on? Yeah. Bright enough. So there. That's that. So that's working. So that's another positive. So yeah, we're not really too far away now. We're gonna have seating pretty shortly after dinner. Suspension will be done. There's bonnet pins are probably a little bit of a big job, and yeah, not really tons more to be said. So hopefully another few hours and we drop down in a more completed state. See what happens. So, 16 hours in, very close to where we need to be. We've only had 2 people on it today, so first 8 were 4, then 3, now 2 people on it. So, getting towards the final touches. So if you look inside now, there's just the harness to clip in, but that's literally 2-minute job. We'll get all that sorted. Seats in and where it needs to be. The runner's not quite working out I wanted it to, so we'll have to have a look at that. Steering wheel all on with the spacer on. I think we just want to drop seat down, Scott, wherever you are. I want to just drop it down a notch actually, on back at least. Fire extinguishers in, all plumbed up, all sorted. So there's 4 nozzles, which will probably be easier to see from the other side, but there's 4 nozzles aiming at driver. See them all kicking about around there, and then they just want clips on them to stop them flapping about. This just wants tape into there or whatever little bracket making. Just put it wherever. That's a 2-minute job. Mirror to go on, that's not a big deal. What else is happening in here? There's a couple of little bits want some paint on and what have you, but that is what it is. I'll not slam that door, that'll end somebody's life, sorry. So all this is on and sorted now. Bonnet pins are on. I would have just touched them, but it was. There we go. That's that, still got bonnet stay on there. So all this is all back to how it should be. The brakes are all bled up. See, all extinguisher pipe works all in there, so there's 1 nozzle, 2, 3, and then 4, so they're all doing what they need to do in engine bay. So we've still yet to drill the spot welds on the wings, but we'll get that done sooner rather than later. Is this ready to drop down then? Yeah, let's drop it onto the corner weights then. It just wants bumper putting on before we get the final weight. Right, it's on enough for what we're doing anyway, isn't it? So what we're at now then. 864. So even adding all that stuff back in, we've dropped just over 10 kilos, which is pretty good. Not what we didn't expect to be dropping loads and loads out of it, so really happy with that. So 10 kilos less. What else is there to talk about really? We've done tons of stuff, it's took loads of time. There's still a few little patches want welding up as well on the car. We've managed to fashion together some leftover spare stuff. So we've got spare brake pads, a couple of spare, well, 4 spare studs and nuts, some oils, that's the ABS wiring, which is all disconnected at the minute, but just making sure that we wouldn't have to put that back on. It weighs nothing anyway, so I can't see why. Brake pipes, drop links, that sort of stuff. Just this is stuff that we took off that's, it's not in good nick, but it's not terrible, so it gets out in a pickle if we needed to. So yeah, on the shelf, left to fit. We've just got to do the exhaust rubbers, not a big deal. Just the rear toe strap to go on. We've still not decided what we're going to do with that fuel system yet because it's all plastic hard pipes and they've all got heat shielding on, so I don't want to, pardon me, I don't want to cause a problem, I'm trying to save a problem, so we'll see what we can do with that. So then all this stuff here that's laid out, we've still got the stickers to go on, which that's going to happen in a bit, but this is all the radio wiring, so we've got an antenna there, wherever it's hidden away in there somewhere. We've got to put the aerial on the roof, and then this goes in that you plug your helmet into as well, and then this needs to go onto the steering wheel for the comms button. Pardon me, the aerial's hiding here. And then this is all the V-box stuff, so what we've done here, I don't know why there's only one strap, but this is something we 3D printed, so that Sorry, getting away your camera. That goes on there. That bolts onto the roll cage, and away you go. So fairly easy to work with. It does exactly what we need it to do. So that is going to be going in, and all this display and all that, because part of the regs, it doesn't matter how you do it or what system you use, but part of the regs, you've got to have RPM, brake. I don't think you'd have to have throttle, but we're going to have throttle, and the time and the video looking at in a certain position in the car in case of incidents and stuff like that. So doing what we're going to do with this, we need a micro input module as well to do the RPM. So basically doing what we're doing with this is going to satisfy that part of the regulation, but you could do it with a GoPro, a little LED light when you go on brake and that sort of stuff. There's definitely different ways to achieve what you'd want to achieve with that. So yeah, really, we're not too far away. The other thing I've not mentioned, that's probably quite important, these rear drums are not the right ones. We've been supplied non-ABS car hubs, which although we're disconnecting the ABS, doesn't mean that we don't need the ABS drums. So we've got a bit of a discrepancy between the bearing and the drum. So make sure if you've got an ABS car, you get all ABS bearings, drum, brake kit, all that stuff. So another couple of hours, I'd have thought we're going to have had it tracked up, ready to rock, and we'll not be driving it today if the drums don't turn up, but we'll see what happens. So we finally managed to get some time to get it over here and get it sorted. The alignment is obviously, we've had that much stuff off, there's going to be an absolute mile out, which we knew. So just stuck these on. So the other side is reading pretty much 0. This side is reading that far off scale, it's touching wall. So this trap rod is way too short. So what we'll do, even them both out, make sure wheels in the centre of the steering rack, because that's all obviously being off, and then we'll tweak the total, we'll get where we want to be. I think we've not done any alignment on these before. When we've raced in these, we've not known what the alignment really is. I don't think everybody wants to share that sort of stuff, but we'll just do what we normally do. We'll put a tiny bit of toe out, 1/2 degree each side maybe, but 1/2 mil, so it's not really a degree, quite a bit less. 1/2 mil of toe out each side, maybe 1/4 mil depending. See how it drives, and then when we're at track, we'll pull it along. So I think, see how it all edits out with footage we've got on what we're doing, but I'm hoping this is the end of this vlog. We're probably 20 hours in by the time this is done. Obviously, add up that there were 4 people on sometimes, that you get up to quite a bit of labour. I estimated we're probably at 40 hours-ish to build one. Before we started, we probably still are there. So if somebody's wanting one of these building, and you wanted to go as far as we've gone with it, as far as all the new stuff and then the spares packing and stuff like that, you're looking at about 67 grams build. So if somebody wants one, wants us to do it, or you're getting somebody else to do it, be expecting it to cost about that much. You can definitely cut corners and knock £1,000 off this if you don't want any new stuff, but it's only going to bite you behind when you get to the racetrack. So hopefully this has been interesting. We'll probably get it on dyno at some point and just see what it can do, but that's not going to be on this video. That'll be something totally different. Hopefully it doesn't have that much torque, it breaks dyno.